Good morning, Gulf of Mexico. This is your Gulf of Mexico weather briefing for Wednesday, May 19th. The main story over the next few days will be the continued threat for elevated winds and seas across the entire Gulf of Mexico into this weekend, as a pressure gradient remains tight between a ridge of high pressure to the east and a low pressure system in the plains. In addition to this, several thunderstorm clusters are also forecast to impact the Gulf through Friday, bringing a threat for locally enhanced winds and seas within this activity. Conditions are finally forecast to ease across the entire Gulf of Mexico by Sunday as high-pressure ridging settles in across the northern Gulf Coast this weekend. Although it is not a threat to the Gulf of Mexico whatsoever, Weather Ops has a brief update on a non-tropical low northeast of Bermuda that could gain some subtropical characteristics later this week as well. Weather Ops has begun to monitor a developing non-tropical low northeast of Bermuda. Over the next few days, this non-tropical low is forecast to track southwestwards over a slightly more favorable environment for tropical development, and could gain some subtropical characteristics before the system lifts north and then northeastwards this weekend out across a less favorable environment. Regardless of any further development, this potential disturbance is not forecast to impact the Gulf of Mexico or eastern seaboard and will remain out over the open waters of the Atlantic. Please continue to monitor the latest Atlantic tropical planners for the most up-to-date information on this disturbance. Thunderstorms are currently noted across the western Gulf of Mexico, with this activity tracking eastwards this morning. Additional activity is noted across portions of the central Gulf of Mexico as well. Locally enhanced winds and seas will be possible within these storms. Outside of this thunderstorm activity, widespread 20 to 30 knot east to southeasterly winds are noted across much of the Gulf, with a few areas seeing some locally higher conditions. These elevated winds are forecast to continue across the Gulf of Mexico over the next few days as the pressure gradient remains tight across the region. The Gulf of Mexico has become quite active since yesterday's video, with several alerts currently out across the region. A thunderstorm watch is currently out until 10 a.m. across the western Gulf of Mexico, and additional watches will likely be needed throughout the day today across the Gulf. Thunderstorm warnings currently extend along a squall line that is working its way east across the western Gulf of Mexico this morning as well. Any thunderstorm that is warned will bring a threat for waterspouts, wind gusts in excess of 45 to 50 knots, frequent lightning, and heavy rain. In addition to this, we also have multiple marine advisories and warnings out as well. Across the western Gulf, there is a marine advisory out for 20 to 30 knot winds and seas of 7 to 11 feet. The marine advisory down across the southern Gulf of Mexico is also out for similar conditions to the western Gulf Marine Advisory. Finally, looking at the marine warning, this alert is out for the potential for sustained winds of 20 to 30 knots, with wind gusts possibly in excess of 45 knots at times, and 8 to 13 foot seas. All of these marine advisories and warnings do expire on Sunday, as calmer conditions are then forecast afterwards. Looking at the forecast over the next few days, unsettled conditions will continue to persist across much of the Gulf of Mexico into this weekend. With the pressure gradient remaining tight between a ridge of high pressure to the east and a low pressure system in the plains, winds will remain east to southeasterly at 20 to 30 knots for the most part today, tomorrow, and into Friday. In addition to these elevated winds, several thunderstorm complexes are also forecast to impact portions of the Gulf of Mexico as well. These thunderstorm complexes will not only disrupt the wind field for brief periods of time, but they'll also bring a threat for wind gusts in excess of 50 knots, a waterspout threat, very rough seas, frequent lightning, and heavy rain. The shower and thunderstorm threat will change little across the Gulf of Mexico on Saturday, especially across the western Gulf. However, conditions are forecast to gradually ease throughout the day on Saturday as high-pressure ridging slowly builds into the Gulf of Mexico. This will allow the pressure gradient to relax and allow the winds to decrease to 15 to 25 knots across the Gulf. Then as we get into Sunday, much more benign conditions are then forecast as high-pressure ridging becomes centered across the northern Gulf Coast, bringing lower thunderstorm chances and 10 to 20 knot east to southeasterly winds to the Gulf of Mexico. Wind-enhanced winds across the Gulf of Mexico forecast to persist into Saturday. Widespread moderate to rough seas are forecast across the entire Gulf of Mexico into this weekend. Some very rough seas will also be possible across portions of the central Gulf of Mexico on Friday and into Saturday morning before conditions begin to ease Saturday night into Sunday. With the winds falling to 10 to 20 knots across the Gulf on Sunday, seas will also lower down to slight to moderate levels across the entire region as well by Sunday evening.
Thank you for watching. For 24-hour meteorology support, you can reach us at marine@dtn.com. Have a great day.